Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void! Today it's going to be a match from Nation Wars 2019. It's going to be Reynor versus Clem here on World of Sleepers. Top right-hand corner is the green Zerg player Reynor from Italy representing his country, and in the bottom left it is the blue Terran player Clem representing his country, France. Alright, these two countries are neighbors, and these are two very young, up-and-coming stars. So we will see who comes out on top here. It's a ZVT, it's a long match. Go get a drink. This is going to be a long one, and hit the pause button before you go, because you never know what will happen in StarCraft 2. Barracks first tier, hatch first tier. Yeah, pretty much standard openings for these guys, and man, I need a new pop filter, you guys. I think I'll get one for Christmas. Hold on a second. There we go. I think that'll work. You couldn't see what I did, but I just adjusted my pop filter arm so it wasn't like wobbling all over the place. I mean, it's gotten some good use. It's about 5 years old at this point, maybe 4 years old, and yeah, it's probably time for a new one. It's gotten me a lot of good use over the years, for sure. There's your spawning pool, there's your extractor popping up here, yada 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 yada. Reaper on the way. Reaper's name is Tzeentch, the chaos god of magic, planning, and backstabbing. Tzeentch traveled through the warp into the StarCraft universe to take the power of Amon. However, the resident space god proved too powerful for Tzeentch, and he was cast into a mortal form of a guy sent to die in the Reaper program. Tzeentch only has one thing to say about the situation: all is going as planned. Well, Tzeentch, let's see if this works out for you, man. You gonna live through this game? Gonna say no. Probably not gonna happen, man. Reapers have a death wish, as somebody said in the comments on a previous video. Again, I read every comment anybody ever makes on any of my videos. I'm not kidding about this. YouTube has a comments feature where you see them as they chronologically come in. If you comment on a video that I posted 3.5 years ago, I will see it as though it was posted today. So go ahead, watch my old stuff, comment. I'll probably respond and be like, what are you doing? Why are you watching something I did 3 years ago? Anyway, Tzeentch here trying to get some Zerglings. Again, good control by Reynor. He just does a pretty good job at moving the wounded lings to the back so they don't die until the queen shows up, and then Mama Queen says, get out of my house. Get out of my house, I said. Factory coming up back home for Clem. Our Reaper trying to accomplish some things. Third base for a Reynor, and really just going to go Ling Queen for the time being. He doesn't really need much else, especially because Clem did go for that 1-Rax expand. It really stops his ability to get too aggressive in the early stages of the game, and helps him in the macro, so Reynor will macro up accordingly. Back in Terranville. That is a third command center. Okay, so we're definitely macroing right now for Clem. I like Clem a lot. Have I mentioned that? I like this kid very, very much. I think he's going to be a rising star. Reynor obviously has reached higher heights than Clem has, but they're both, again, young. Both very, very good. I would not be surprised. KDA charge connects on that queen. Would honestly not be surprised at all. 1 kill, 2 kills for Tzeentch. Not bad, actually. 2 Zerglings. If Clem was able to make it to BlizzCon and whatnot himself before all is said and done. So keep an eye on this youngster. 1 worker on gas from Reynor, which indicates he's going for super macro, which is what he needs to do because Clem is going for super macro. So I'm trying to figure out who this benefits. I feel like this probably benefits Clem, just because he's going the super macro, and if Reynor was going for like a 2-base Roach Ravager style thing with a 3rd base just pretty much for Larva, that Clem would just die. He doesn't have any tinks at all. He's going Hellions and stuff. He would be toast. But because Reynor is going for the macro stuff, Clem actually is allowed to keep up, and he doesn't have to worry about those early attacks either. So far, I'd say this is good for Clem. Shuju, factory, land, starport coming up. Gonna reactor the factory, probably reactor swap onto that starport based on the proximity there. And just Hellions defensively here, really. I mean, not much aggression out of Reynor other than a couple of Hellions and a Reaper, as is tradition here. 3rd base saturated. We've got that rich best being Geyser that he can go ahead and toss an extractor onto if he wants for the gas. But right now, it's all minerals, minerals, minerals. He has resaturated his main extractor. He is getting a couple in the natural base. So, starting to care about gas at this moment, getting a Baneling Nest just in case these turn into Hellbats and bad things happen for him. But at this point, Reynor does not have, I mean, Yeah, there's nothing here that it would indicate he can go for Hellbats. There's no armory, is what I'm trying to say. Oh no, there's one getting started now. This could be armory. Reynor going for a fourth. So he's like, either I'm way ahead right now, or I'm keeping pace with the Terran. And yeah, you're keeping pace, because Clem's third base is landing fully built on the third base location in about 4 seconds. Hellions come in, see a base. All right, we can't kill it, but if we had Hellbats, we could. Armory's still not done yet. It does take some time to finish. Queens marching over to defend. 3 Queens can handle 4 Hellions, no problemo. At least keep them out of there, and especially with transfuses, man. Trying to take down some of these creep tumors. And again, the Nation Wars was played on the previous patch, so we still have infested Terrans. We still have the ability to cancel creep tumors. Battle cruisers don't have any vulnerability while they're transporting, etc., etc. Marine push, actually. Is this... I mean, we're upgraded. We've got Stim. It's a Stim Marine push with a couple medevacs. +1 attacks on the way, but it's not going to be done for this attack. So it's going to be a Marine Hellbat attack here. All right. Banelings are needed here. 9 Banelings are in production. Can they get here in time to save this 4th Overlord down? Supply blocking Reynor. That's a problem for him. Couple SCVs dying. Yeah, third base is in trouble. In the meantime, the Zerglings decide we're not of use here. Banelings getting some decent connections. Still a bunch of Marines remaining, though. Queens, however, pretty scary in the situation and is going to get chased away. So Clem needs to get on out. His third base was forced to be lifted. It is on fire. 4 SCVs died. Going to lose his supply depot, too. Not going to supply block him, though. So a bit of aggression on both sides of the map here. But I think Clem's okay. He's got 50 workers. He's got mules. He can repair up this base. He didn't lose it entirely. That would have been a disaster. Had that occurred, but it didn't. It didn't, and everything is totally fine. Hydralisk Den on the way from Reynor. We're going to see Dem Hydra as a Hydraling Bane strategy against this largely bio strategy of Clem, which not a giant fan of, but at least you have something that can definitely pick off the medevacs in the sky, whereas Roaches and Ravagers cannot accomplish that. At least not at this highest level. Maybe at your level, you can throw down Corrosive Biles and kill medevacs, but not at Nation Wars. Not at Reynor versus Clem levels at all. So, again, keeping the base means that Reynor is happily on 77 workers at about 7 minutes. A pretty good goal to hit if you're trying to play games yourself. Having 77 workers at 7.5 minutes is a pretty good thing to stretch for. Muscular Augments on the way from that Hydralisk Den. We're probably going to see range at some point. Infestation Pit coming up. Drilling Claws on the way. I do love this Marine Medevac Widowmine style thing we're seeing. It's very Heart of the Swarm. It was very, very good back in Heart of the Swarm too, when players like Bjorn and Maru were crushing Zerg nerds with it back in the day. Zerglings do end up... Ooh, did they scout that? I want to say they did. Either way, Clem pushing in 2 separate directions at once does get an Overlord to the north. To the south, he's going to try to clear some creep. Maybe get a couple Queens. Maybe get a couple Hydralisks. Hey, getting early units is a good thing. And then boosting out before the Hydralisks can kill your dudes is also pretty good, too. So far, not much lost, I want to say, from Clem. He did lose a couple SCVs. Yes, it's 2,000 resources lost for him, 3,000 for Reynor. Reynor can afford to lose them here. Banelings, surprise Banelings! Ah, surprise Banelings. Came up your backside and you are now dead. Pneumatized Carapace coming in, allowing the Overlords to scout better and run away quicker if they're under attack. Reynor's has taken another base to the bottom here. That's going to be his 5th to a... almost a 4-basing Clem. He's building his 4th. So I think both, again, pretty even economically, pretty even on the macro side of things. Reynor's getting a Spire, probably for Broodlords at this stage of the game. Clem, does he have an answer for Broodlords? Let's find out. Let's see if he's going to get there or not. Marines are not going to be it. Just pure Marine is not going to happen with a Hydra Baneling Broodlord style. Especially if there are infestors, too. I mean, Reynor's got a very strong composition. He's been able to get there pretty quickly, too. Here up at the 9-minute mark. Baneling's getting some decent hits. 7 drones die to something. Oh, is that a Widowmine? Did they just walk in? Oh, that was a Widowmine drop. All right, so Widowmine drop takes down 7 drones. Not bad, not bad. Engaging off creep here. Reynor doesn't really want to do that, but at the same time, he wants to push these dudes back. They're a little bit too close for comfort. Hydras can stand in and trade pretty effectively, better than Roaches and Ravagers can, at least over the course of a game. So I do prefer the Hydras over the Roach Ravager play against a Terran player. especially if they're going bio. If they're going mech, maybe a bit of a different story, especially Thors. Roaches are pretty decent against Thors in good numbers. Hydras are too, though, so I guess Hydra might just be better in every way. Adrenal glands, +2 melee attack coming on in here, too. Just got little skirmishes, north side, south side. Widowmine takes down a ton of Zerglings on that southern engagement. Northern engagement has some Widowmines just begging the Hydras to walk in there because Hydras are glass cannons and will die to anything that can attack them, really. And there's your Greater Spire. So in the course of all of this, Reynor has been macroing up. Hasn't been really baller all that much economically. Again, some drones have gone down. I see that as yet another Widowmine drop happens up here. During that attack, I mean, Clem's timings are crisp today. He'll be pushing in with an attack while dropping Widowmines into a mineral line at the same time. And he's doing some pretty good things. He has killed a total of 15 drones. He's lost 4 SCVs himself, which is where you want to be economically versus a Terran. He's happily sitting on 4 bases. He's got a planetary fortress up. He's getting into the late game here. Hey, look, I saw the Widowmine drop this time. And 4 drones go down. Nothing too huge. But again, he pushes in, sucks in Reynor's attention, sucks in the caster's attention, and then gets the Widowmine drop at the exact same time. Oh gosh, Widowmines trying to split against them. Not working super well, but there's enough Zerg here, especially with some ducks. Engaging off creep, I'm not sure about this from Clem, though. Yeah, 3-3 on the way for the Lings and the Banelings, which does benefit the Broodlords, too, for, well, the Broodlings especially. The Broodling attack, not the Broodlord strike attack. Broodlords are kind of a weird combination of air and ground upgrades. Widowmines getting some firing off there, too. Trying to come for the flank attack on the south. Clem avoiding that fairly nicely. He doesn't want to get sandwiched. It's a pick up, get out of there. 1 medevac goes down to the Hydras. Widowmines firing a couple Zerglings, but that's enough. As there's an Overseer. Drilling Claws is not going to save you today, my guys. Creep spread up on the top side is pretty good. Liberator setting up in range of a Spore. Gonna get a few drone kills, but also gonna take a few shots from a Spore Crawler, which is bad. Good reaction from Clem there, not just blindly sending it in to die. Clem taking a 5th base now at the, we'll say the 7 o'clock position. Liberator dies. 3-3 coming up at 12 minutes for Clem. His upgrade timings are really nice right now. Going for a Fusion Core, going for a Ghost Academy. Recognizing, okay, at some point, this little Marine Widowmine thing is not going to work anymore. Marauders probably going to lose their usefulness at some point here, too. I don't think he knows what the tech is. Does he know what the tech is? All right, after this engagement, we'll check. He doesn't know there's a Greater Spire. So that's a problem. That's really a big problem here. If he's making Liberators, and he's making Marauders because he thinks it might be Ultralisks. Oh boy. I don't know. Regardless, though, Ghosts are coming in and they have steady targeting, and that means they're really good against either. They're good against Ultras. They're also good against Broodlords. They're good against Hydralisks. That sort of thing, too. Widowmine's firing on some of those Banelings, cruising. This has been a pretty much non-stop battle here. But nobody really seems to have the upper hand at this moment. There we go. Pushing on and getting some decent hits. Oh, the Liberator's getting picked out of the sky there, too. Continuing to push in with the Banelings into this Planetary Fortress. Decent hits on the SCVs. Planetary Fortress going to go down, too. Nice engagement there out of Reynor. Takes the base down. Clem can chase away the remaining of these units because there really aren't many Banelings remaining. And Reynor going to push back. After that battle, Clem is at 138 supply to 178 for Reynor. Our Terran player is in trouble. He's building a replacement 4th base here at the 5th base location, protected by a Planetary Fortress, but man, army supplies are pretty even. Zerglings hopping on top of these supply depots, hoping to supply block Clem, but you know, it's 150 supply out of a 196 for the Terran player, so good luck with that, Zerglings. knocking down rocks to open up additional attack paths. Reynor is in control of this game. He's putting up another spire somewhere for double upgrades. He hasn't built any Broodlords yet, but he is planning on it. I can tell you that much. 4 drones dying. Gosh, dang it. How many Liberator shows up? All right, Liberator right side. Why is the blue not showing up on my map? I don't know what it is. Just doesn't really stand out all that much. Widowmine friendly fire! All the Zerglings die. A Marauder stands alone. Baneling hits outside, but Clem microing within an inch of his life. Standing strong. There are your 8 Corruptors. There's your Pathogen Glands. These are the ingredients that Reynor needs to break Clem here once and for all. 4th base replaced about a minute after the previous one died. More Liberator stuff out. Just because to this point there were no Corruptors. There were no Mutalisks. Liberators have free reign of the skies to a certain extent. Sure, the Hydras are a problem, but if you stay kind of in the dead air spaces, Hydras aren't going to catch you, you know? More creep spread down. Loving the creep spread death here. Lings trying to get on into this base, but Liberators one-shot Zerglings, but don't kill them quite fast enough to prevent them from taking down the supply depots here. God, the Widowmine shots. Ghost fighting. He does end up getting 3 kills, and he stays alive to tell his buddies about it at the end of the day, assuming he can live to the end of the day here. 8 Broodlords in production. Here they are. Where are they going to be? Again, they're slow. Again, they are slow. Liberator setting up. Hydra say no. And Clem's back up to 188 supply, 191 supply, so he's recovered quite nicely from losing that base. Reynor did not push the issue. He was waiting for his tier 3 stuff to show up, and now it's here at 16 minutes. So the Broodlords are around. This is a big map, though. This is a big map where the immobility of the Broodlords can really be abused. If you just expand everywhere, snipe bases with your really fast bio army like this, the Broodlords can't respond in time, and you can really make this work for you. Engaging into the Broodlords bad, but if you can take out bases where the Broodlords are not, you're going to have a pretty easier time of it. I'm not going to say easy. I'm going to say it's an easier time of it. But at the same time, just kind of hanging out in the middle here is not what you want to do. I mean, killing some tumors is going to be nice. Again, the creep start has been pushed back quite nicely today by Clem. He's done a good job with that. The Broodlords are down to the south, which means you want to go to the north and hit this base, where a Liberator is actually already set up, murdering any drones that decide to mine from those minerals. High-sec auto-tracking coming in. 5 more Infestors on the way here, too. Infestor, good unit. Infestor, really good unit. Infested Terrans, again, do exist in this patch that we're on today. I know it's a bit of a blast from the past at this point, but Nation Wars was played on it, the whole darn thing. And, well, maybe not the whole thing, but the earlier rounds anyway. Oh, the Beanlings! Oh, the Widowmine connections were huge there. They were huge there. Is he still sending drones over? Sort of. Anyway, here's your engagement down south. Hydra's trying to take out this group. Banelings connecting on everything. Pretty much all that's left are some Liberators, and they get parasitic bombed. Clem retreats with his available medevac to the few units inside. Oh, the parasitic bomb, so good against those Liberators. Everybody unloading, everybody hanging out. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, don't engage into the... Is there another Liberator somewhere? There has to be, right? I think it was here. Yep, there are the pieces fading into the ground. Yeah, steady targeting on a Broodlord. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see here from Clem. Steady targeting on those Broods. Wipe them out. Try to do it when there aren't any Banelings or Infestors around. You're going to have a much easier time of it. I know, easier said than done. But trust me, steady targeting, pretty darn good against those Broods. Pushing up, we got drones transferring, we got Zerglings running around on the map, we got Vikings in production. Sure, another Liberator, why not? Is that guy even visible on the minimap at all? Can you see that? Like the dark blue in the black? Maybe that's my problem. Probably Clem's problem too, is that he can't see them on the mini-map. Gonna Baneling bust on into the third, which is an interesting target because it's almost mined out. But I guess if you want to try it anyway, I'm down. Vikings are like, oh, there's only Overseers here, not much for us to do. Liberator showing up, trying to deal with it. I'm not sure that Reynor wants to go in there. Going up a ramp is a very dicey proposition if you're Zerg versus Terran, or versus Protoss, or, you know, versus really anything. What are we doing here? What happened to my... Oh, I know. I tilted it. Tilde swaps the production tab down there, which you guys have voted on previously and said you preferred it in the top left. So that's where it lives. That's where it is. Clem takes the 6 o'clock position. He's really no worse for the wear from that previous engagement that he lost his 4th in. I think he's okay. Army supply very similar to what Reynor's doing. There's your fungal, though. That's a really pretty fungal. Again, not going to kill a lot, but good anyway. Anything that drains the energy off of the Medivacs is going to be a thing. It's going to be good for you. Yeah, this leash range is another thing that they patched. Is this a thing? I keep seeing Liberators now. Meanwhile, 4th base in a lot of trouble again. Baneling's coming on in. Hydra's going to try to finish that sucker off. Burrow Baneling attack! Oh, catches a huge grip of that bio. The Ghost's all cloaked, trying to save the base, but no. Planetary Fortress goes down. 22 SCVs die. The 4th base is a cursed location. You don't want to live there. Trust me on this one. 22 SCVs down and a base. Luckily, there's another orbital command right next to it to take over and resource gathering duties. Oh, the Broodlords, though. Little unsupported Broodlords. God, the Widowmine friendly fire was maybe more dangerous than anything else there. Even more dangerous than the Broodlords, perhaps. That's kind of a double-edged sword that way. So Reynor happily on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases. Terran, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases himself. Gonna be okay. Clem, not dead. 166 supply, producing units quite nicely. Reynor is effectively maxed out. He's at least supply capped. Wings and Banelings cruising on in. And that base is in trouble again here. Pretty good kiting on display from Clem. The Ghosts trying to hold their own here. Ooh, yeah, killing the Overseer, and that makes the Banelings more effective. I'd like that. Really trying to chase it down right now, but the Hydras keep that away. 4th base going to die again. These Hydras have a mission on their minds. Banelings take out a couple Ghosts, which is really horrible news. Is that a Liberator? Another Liberator set up. And actually, the 4th base is alive. Technically burning down, but not dead yet. No, he's not dead yet. +3 flyer attack in production for the Zerg player. Clem hurting a little bit here. We're just going to say he's been on his back foot. He really hasn't been able to kill a base today. If he has a really good engagement where he can just kind of wipe out all the Broodlords and then push, he's got a good chance. Clem... I guess Reynor does have a fairly decent bank. The Remax capability is here. Not looking good for the Terran player at all. Just the Broodlords and the Vipers are here, casting Parasitic Bomb on the Vikings. Oh, he left the Parasitic Bomb where the Liberators are, though. Oh, that hurts. Sucking energy off of that Spore. Trying to take another base in the top left, but there are bird Zerglings here. You can't land that base until those are cleared out. I'm sure you know how that works. Top left base taken by Reynor for an 8th. He just is in complete control in this game. Ducks a couple Liberators in. One of them dies. The other one manages to get back home before nothing too bad happens to him. Parasitic Bomb really doing a lot of good stuff here. Fungal's getting tossed down. Why not? And then once Broodlings are in range, Planetary Fortresses are in trouble. The rest of the army shows up to deal with this, which just means that the Hydras and Banelings show up to deal with your attempt at a base in the top left. Clem, new base, likely going to die. Actually, not even bothering with it at this point. Really wants to wipe out this section. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. This is mined out. Basically, there's 26 gas left here, man. Reynor very intelligently pulling back, pulling back. Which just means the army's not down here to the south. And, well, not looking good there. Not looking good up to the north. Baneling's getting massive connections on the Widow Mines. Rolling into Marines and Ghosts as well. There still might be enough here to hold, but Zerglings from the backside causing major problems. Reinforcing Banelings joining the party, and that is it. Clem taps out army supply 44 to 112 in favor of the Zerg player. Just too much Zerg everywhere for him to handle anymore, and he decided it was done at 24 minutes. So good match. Really good back and forth here today from these players. I liked what Clem was doing. I liked that he recovered from the early attack very nicely, but at the end of the day, just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough in the Terran arsenal to make it happen. Just not enough on the ground and not enough in the air. Reynor's control of the parasitic bombs and the fungals and the corruptor balls was just perfect. And it's really hard to come back from that. Resources lost 49,000 for Clem, 46,000 for Reynor, which, by golly, I mean, if you can have your opponent lose more than you do as a Zerg player in a 25-minute game, you won that thing pretty handily. And he did. So resources lost here, looking at 43 drones, which was a good job by Clem. That was a really good job by Clem, but 80 SCVs down is a bad thing. Ended up killing 4 of the Broodlords, but at the end of the day, there were still 5 of them, which is a good enough number to make things happen. 3 planetary fortresses died, and an orbital, and 0 hatcheries down. That is key. You really, really can't beat an elite Zerg player if you kill 0 of their hatcheries in a 25-minute game. I'm going to call it just nigh impossible. Nigh impossible. So a good game there. Reynor gets the win. Clem shows well, though. I got to tell you, I like this kid. I believe in him. We'll see what happens in the future. But for today, that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.